by Francesco Sette, who's the Director General of the European Synchrotron Radiation Facility, also known as ESRF, who will tell us a bit about what are these synchrotrons about. And then at the end, I'll ask him a few questions. So, Francesco, go ahead.
Thank you. It's been a long day, indeed, very interesting. Lots of challenges, lots of problems which are unsolved, but this is really what keeps us all going. I think the last session on young talent has been really something that renovates the vigor that the less young talent try to put in their life. We've seen Pablo contributions. So, you know, we have been talking also about the role of research infrastructures, the way they enter into creating knowledge, but also exploiting knowledge, and most importantly also in preparing the next generations for their use. So I'm going to give you the example of what I know, which is the ESRF. ESRF is a source of synchronous radiation you find in Grenoble, at the confluence of two rivers. You see it here on the campus, this is the EPN campus, they share with EMBL. We heard, Edith heard in this morning that underlined the importance of X-rays in progressing in structural biology. And also we have the ELL, which is the most powerful neutron research reactor existing in the world. And I'm going to tell you why with X-rays we can unlock some of the key secrets of our universe. So for me, and this is a very important point, a research infrastructure is enabling research and is in general required when people cannot do it alone without this. So it's really bringing people together with the idea of doing something that wouldn't be possible alone. And so when you do that, the first thing for a research infrastructure is the science. It's the research. What do you want to do? What are you going to do in day one? And I think this is something that is extremely important and should be put on the first pages of all research infrastructures in Europe, new and existing one. And in the particular case of ESRF, the science case that we have been reviewed over many years is to study complexity of condensed matter, both materials and living matter, starting from the atom, we are in a world of atom, all the way up to a functioning object. And you can immediately see examples for biology. I don't know if I have a laser, I don't want to change the slide. So you see you start from the atom, then you have the protein, and all the way you go to a working body. And maybe you can even go beyond. The same would apply to materials, energy today, storage, environment issues, supply chains of food and so on, circular economy, complexities everywhere. And starting from the atom, understanding the object and determining the characteristic of the functioning object with the structure and the dynamics of the single atoms is really what synchrotron science is all about. So we went into a major reconstruction and investment program that was about $500 million. Is a landmark on the ESRF roadmap. It has been delivered on time and within budget, and it allowed us to create really a completely new suite of instruments, a new source, a new data infrastructure, because as you can imagine, we produce a lot of data, and I'll come back to that, but also a very important issue for these kind of projects. And this project was launched, as you can see, in 2009, is really to try to reduce energy consumption and carbon footprint, which has been a key issue from day one. And all that has improved experimental conditions by a factor 100 to 10,000. And any scientist in the room knows that these are the kind of order of magnitudes you want to see if you want to really enter into a new regime. And this new regime is really addressing many issues, as I mentioned before. These are the areas where our enlarging users base, or use this source to study materials in the health and food, energy, environment, microelectronics, chemistry and catalysis, aerospace, extreme conditions, to know about other planets, advanced materials, consumer products, and also cultural heritage. A couple of numbers on emissions and values. So we exist because some countries decided to work together, because alone they couldn't do it. And as we will see, our member states, they all have their synchrotrons, but they support the ESRF because that's where things start. So we bring nations together through science and contribute to the construction of the European research area. We have always pioneered, since day one, synchrotron science in order to provide to the partner countries unique experimental conditions for new science and new technology. We provide the state-of-the-art X-ray facility that are also addressing issues that are relevant to the innovation and industrial chain. This is really one of the key aspects of the operation of our facilities, and contributing with that not only to competitiveness of European industry, but also to a training of young scientists and engineers and entrepreneurs in looking at how give value to this discovery chain. And in that respect is of key importance to try and inspire young generation and society. So some statistics, we have 21 partner countries, so we have about 2,000 scientific publications per year, we have about 10,000 scientific visitors. 30% of our research is carried out with industrial partner, and 4 Nobel Prizes. So, okay. We said that we do science, so I'm not going to start giving you a lot kind of statistics. I just want to give you a couple of examples on science on day one, thanks to this new source that today is unique worldwide. Leonardo, in about 500 years ago, started what is an analytical anatomy. And you see these beautiful drawings. And 500 years later, with the new ESRF EBS source, there is a real revolution in anatomy and the ability of looking at intact human organs without destroying them, and with a resolution that goes subcellular below 1 micron. And this has started what is called today the Human Organ Atlas Project, which is really a revolution for bioimaging. It directly links to the understanding of human diseases and gives a really new insight about the body. And you can see here a heart that has been measured at the ESRF. The rendering is with Siemens headliners, and this don't go into the details, provide really incredible new insight about the heart constitution and its functioning, the direction of the fiber of the muscles. And on the other side, you see a lung of a patient that died of COVID and gave his lung to science. And you can see the incredible detail down to a fraction of a micron, so that has been acquired on the whole lung, and the ability to identify the airways, the functioning blood vessels, the clotted blood vessels, and so on. There are about 40 groups, as we speak, that are working together on this atlas and contributing to their constitution, but also in exploiting the data for the humankind. The other thing that I just want to show is this. ESRF is existing since 1994. ERC is a little bit younger. Until 2018, we didn't have any ERC grant for work that was centered on the exploitation of ESRF. Since 2018, we have seen Marie-Ingrid this morning with her participation. We have 10 that just came in on a project that are fully centered on the exploitation of the new ESRF. And if we move another step, this is the EBS in 2015-2020 is the period of construction. You see the map, extremely developed, of synchron sources around the world. And this new endeavor, this new source, which is possible thanks to the continuous analysis of what we can do better, but also to the new technologies that accelerator science can develop, has changed the situation to this one. And as of today, basically every source around the world, and especially those in Europe, are progressing in moving towards the same activity. And all this is coordinated by consortia, like, for example, the LEAPS consortium. So, young people, they are key to this process. The new source, the new beamlines are not enough. You really need to bring the people together, the innovators, the scientists, the industry. And in that respect, we have been working very hard to open international hubs on specific themes can be held. We have seen the Human Organ Atlas, can be batteries, and this also involves RTOs and industry. Centers for Disruptive Science and Technology Excellence for all researchers. And of course, we have been developing since 2016 very advanced open science, open data program in which the hundreds of petabytes that are being generated at our facilities are allowing new science, but also the ability by us being custodians to maintain this data wealth for the future generation. And of course, engagement in various training process that goes from elementary school all the way up to postdoctoral programs. And with that, I want to conclude in these few minutes to drive some conclusions. Today, we were able, thanks to the work of all the European member states of the ESRF, to change the paradigm in synchron X-ray science and application, and in the role of analytical RI. And this has, is enabling really a new bridge to our understanding of the worlds of atoms, but also provides fantastic opportunities for increasingly large user base, academy, industry, research and technology organizations. I think ESRF is a role model for a user science-driven research infrastructure able to deliver from day one. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesco, for taking us on this very interesting and fascinating journey into the world of synchrotrons. I actually prepared 3 questions for you, but because we're already quite late, I'm going to stick to the most important one, I think. Research infrastructures have been going through some difficult times, first because of COVID, and the access to them was limited. Then an energy crisis came along, and that increased costs for you and many other facilities. So in that difficult context which you're trying to come out of, what are your hopes and expectations from Europe to make sure that we continue the success?
Indeed, European research infrastructure, all the Euroforum research infrastructure, we heard today by EMBL, we have representatives from CERN. We have been suffering very heavily from this crisis. Of course, it's been hitting the energy cost, the supply chain, the ability to deliver within the time scale that was planned. And it's clear that within our governance, research infrastructure and European research infrastructures are not very much eligible to many of the plans that have been devised, like Next Generation EU or France 2030 in France or the PNRR in Italy. So indeed, there's been a net loss in purchasing power of our budgets that needs to be reestablished in order to maintain competitiveness, especially with similar major endeavors that we have in the US, in Japan, and China.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that frank answer. So more support is needed. That's the conclusion, right?
Always.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.